Welcome to this comprehensive Blender tutorial, where we'll uncover the art of creating beautiful 3D assets. Whether you're a beginner or someone with previous experience, this video is packed with insights and tips to elevate your Blender skills. In this tutorial, we're going to cover the fundamentals of Blender, interface navigation, mesh modeling, texturing, and finally exporting our assets for use in a game engine. Let's begin with the installation. First things first, head over to blender.org and download the latest version suitable for your operating system. The installation process is straightforward, but if you encounter any issues, feel free to check their official documentation. Once Blender is installed, open it up. You'll be greeted with the default screen, which can be overwhelming due to the plethora of options. Don't worry, we'll break it down step by step. Now, let's familiarize ourselves with the Blender interface. You'll see various panels: the 3D viewport, the outliner, the properties panel, and the timeline. Hover over each element to see its function. This is vital before we begin modeling. To navigate the 3D viewport, use the middle mouse button to rotate the view. Scroll to zoom in and out, and Shift plus middle mouse button to pan. Practicing this is crucial for maneuvering around your models effectively. Now, let's start creating a simple asset. Click on Add in the top left corner of the 3D viewport or press Shift plus A on your keyboard. From the menu, select Mesh and then Cube. A cube appears in the center of your scene. Select the cube and go into edit mode by clicking the menu in the top left corner or simply by pressing Tab. In edit mode, you're able to modify the mesh directly. Let's start shaping this cube into a more interesting object. With the cube selected, you can manipulate its vertices. First, let's use the scaling tool. Use S to scale the cube along the x-axis. To do this, press S followed by X. After that, move your mouse and left-click to confirm the scale. Next, let's use the Extrude tool to create extensions on the cube. Select the top face by switching to Face Select mode by pressing 3, then press E to extrude and move it upward. You can also use the Loop Cut tool to add more geometry. Press Ctrl plus R, and you can hover over the cube to see where the loop cut will be created. Click to place the cut, and then drag to adjust it, confirming with a left click. Now, let's smooth the shape out. Return to Object mode by pressing Tab again. With the object selected, go to the Modifiers panel, wrench icon, in the Properties panel. Add a Subdivision Surface modifier to smooth out your model. To see the smooth version in the viewport, check the box labeled View under the modifier. You can adjust the levels of subdivisions to increase or decrease smoothness. Let's take a moment to add a basic material. Switch to the Material Properties tab, the sphere icon. Click on New. This will create a new material for our object. Change the color by clicking on the color field next to Base Color. Feel free to explore a variety of settings available under the Material tab, such as Metallic, Roughness, and Specular to see how they affect your model's appearance. To better visualize your model, switch the Viewport Shading to Rendered View in the top right corner of the viewport. This allows you to see how your materials interact with light in real time. Now, let's get a little more advanced and create UV maps for our model. Go back to Edit mode and press A to select all. Then, press U to unwrap the mesh and select Smart UV Project. In the window that pops up, you can adjust the settings for the unwrapping process. Keep the defaults for now and hit OK. You'll see how Blender lays out the UV islands. This is crucial for applying textures correctly. After unwrapping, let's apply a texture. Go back to the Material Properties, click on Base Color, and choose Image Texture. Then click Open to load an image texture from your computer. Find an image texture you want to use and select it. You should see that your model updates to display that texture. You can manipulate the UV layout in the UV editor if needed. Now let's create a quick environment to showcase our model. We can use simple primitive shapes to create a floor and some walls. Let's start by adding a plane. Scale the plane by pressing S and moving your mouse outwards. This will serve as the ground for your asset. After that, let's duplicate it to create a wall. With the plane selected, press Shift plus D to duplicate and move it on the Z-axis by typing Z and dragging upwards. You can rotate the walls using the R key. Experiment with the rotation tools to build a small room around your asset. Once the environment is set, let's add lighting to enhance how our model looks. You can do this by pressing Shift+E and selecting Light. Choose Area Light for even lighting. Position the light suitably and adjust its strength in the Light Properties panel to make sure your asset is nicely illuminated. Now, we want to render our scene. Navigate to the Render tab, camera icon, in the Properties panel. Here, you can adjust resolution and sampling rates for quality. Once configured, go to the top menu and select Render followed by Render Image. This will create a beautiful rendering of your 3D asset in its environment. Finally, you may want to export your asset for use in other applications such as Unity or Unreal Engine. Go to the top menu, select File, then Export, and choose the format you want, usually .fbx or .obj. In the Export Settings dialog, ensure that the correct options such as selected objects and your chosen scaling are set. Click Export, and there you have it. You've created a stunning 3D asset from scratch and exported it for use in other applications. Practicing these techniques will lead you to produce more intricate models down the line. Don't forget to share your creations in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more Blender content. Thanks for watching and happy blending. Goodbye.